Okay, so I have a confession. For 3 years, I paid my insurance bill every single month without once looking at what I was actually paying for. Just opened the email, saw the number, made a face like someone had personally offended me, paid it, closed the app. Done. Next month, same thing. I basically had a subscription to feeling slightly robbed that I renewed automatically every 30 days. And the worst part, I thought this was completely normal. Everyone complains about insurance. So I just assumed the number was the number and that was that. Then my cousin visited. Now I love my cousin, but he is dangerously good with money. Spreadsheets for his spreadsheets type of person. Reads financial news on Sundays for fun. I do not understand him, but I respect the commitment. Anyway, we were having tea, and somehow the conversation drifted toward monthly expenses the way it always does when he visits because he genuinely cannot help himself. I mentioned my insurance casually. He put his cup down, slowly, deliberately. The way people put things down when they are about to say something significant. He asked when I last actually shopped around for insurance. I told him I looked into it when I first signed up. He asked when that was. I told him. He picked his cup back up and said absolutely nothing else about it, just moved on. Which was somehow more devastating than if he had laughed directly at my face. After he left, I opened my insurance policy and actually read it for the first time. Now I want to be clear about what reading an insurance policy is actually like. It is like someone took a normal document and specifically removed all the parts that make sense. Every sentence references another section. Every section references an appendix. I spent 20 minutes looking for Appendix B specifically. It does not exist. It was never real. I found coverages on my bill I had never heard of, things I had been paying for every month for years without any idea what they were. Not a great feeling. So I tried Google, first and most consistent mistake of my life. Insurance. Google results are written in a dialect of English that uses real words but communicates absolutely nothing. Then I called my insurance company, was on hold for 36 minutes, listening to music I can only describe as the sound of beige. When someone answered, she was very friendly and completely unable to help me with anything. I asked why my rate went up. She said rates are reviewed based on market conditions. I asked what specifically changed. She said she completely understood my concern. I hung up, made tea, lay on the living room floor for a bit. My wife has stopped asking why. She just steps over me now. My cousin had mentioned using AI for this kind of thing before he left. I had nodded convincingly and meant absolutely nothing by it. But after the floor moment, I was desperate enough to try anything. So I opened an AI tool and dumped everything into it. My full policy, my payment, the phone call that went nowhere, all of it. Then I just asked, can you help me understand what I am actually paying for? What happened over the next 90 minutes was honestly a little embarrassing in retrospect, because it took a computer to point out things I should have caught years ago. It went through my policy like that friend everyone wishes they had. The one who understands complicated things and explains them in plain language without making you feel stupid. And it found 3 things that should not have been there. First, roadside assistance on my insurance. Also a completely free benefit already included with my bank account. Paying for the same service twice simultaneously for 4 years. I did the math. Then I put my phone face down and stared at the ceiling for a minute. Not a fun number. Second, my coverage levels were calibrated for a brand new car. My car is 7 years old. Apparently this matters quite a lot for what coverage actually makes financial sense. Nobody mentioned this at any of my 7 renewals. Fine. Third, one coverage I was carrying had nothing to do with how I actually use my car. Just sitting on my bill every month like a very expensive house guest who does nothing and never leaves. The AI then helped me figure out exactly what I needed and put together specific questions for calling providers. Real specific questions. The kind that make you sound like someone who has done their research rather than someone calling with vague complaints and hoping for the best. I called 4 companies that evening, back to back. New policy confirmed by morning, $3,200 less per year. I checked the email an embarrassing number of times. Same number every time. And $3,200 a year is $266 every single month, just quietly leaving my account and going nowhere useful. Not because of anything complicated, just because I had never looked, and they had absolutely no reason to tell me. 48 hours from deciding to look at this properly to having a better policy at a dramatically lower price, most of which was me making tea and lying on floors between steps, if I'm being honest. Here is my actual takeaway. Insurance companies are not evil. They are just businesses that love customers who pay automatically and never ask questions. The confusing documents and the jargon and the hold music, none of that is accidental. When something is hard to understand, people stop trying. And when people stop trying, they just keep paying. AI does not make you an expert overnight, but it makes the confusing part genuinely manageable. And sometimes manageable is all you need to actually start. Anyway, renewal email, cousin silence, appendix B rabbit hole, 36 minutes of beige hold music, floor moment, AI conversation, $3,200 saved. My wife still thinks the floor thing is weird, but I think the savings give me some credibility on the overall decision-making front. If your insurance has been on autopilot for more than a year, give it one evening. Might be nothing, might be something. See you in the next one.